completed the third consecutive day of strikes in Lebanon on September 25th. It seems like the situation is deteriorating quickly. As many as 80 people were killed yesterday. A Hezbollah missile, meanwhile, almost reached Tel Aviv, Israel's biggest city and commercial capital, before it was intercepted. Hezbollah said the target of the missile was the Mossad headquarters, and Israeli army confirmed that it was the first time a Hezbollah projectile managed to reach central Israel. The escalation came after Hezbollah's confirmation that one of its senior commanders, Ibrahim Kubaisi, was killed in an airstrike on an apartment block in Lebanese capital Beirut on September 24th. The latest Israeli offensive, which began on September 23rd, has been massive and devastating, so far killing more than 600 people, including 50 children, and wounding nearly 2,000 people. And the number is climbing fast. And it was the highest death toll in any single day in Lebanon since the end of the 15-day-long civil war in 1990. Following the strikes, about 5 lakh people are now estimated to have been displaced as well. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said the attacks had weakened Hezbollah, affecting its command and control, its fighters, and its means to fight. He warned that the strikes would continue. Hezbollah, meanwhile, has targeted Israel in limited retaliatory strikes, firing rockets, especially into northern Israel. But most of them have been intercepted and have caused no deaths or serious injuries. Experts believe that Israel achieved some of its short-term goals through the latest strikes. However, the New York Times reported that the attacks started almost by chance after last-minute intelligence warned that a secret operation to blow up pagers used by Hezbollah members and a second operation targeting walkie-talkies were on the verge of being uncovered, which forced Israel to go ahead with the explosions. And once their effect was assessed, Israel decided to launch a wave of airstrikes. The move was supported or even pushed by some hawkish Israeli generals and politicians who believe that Hezbollah can be tamed by brute force. Officially, Israel says it is attacking Hezbollah so that it can facilitate the return of its approximately 65,000 citizens displaced from north because of Hezbollah attacks. Last week, the Israeli Security Cabinet introduced this as a new objective of the ongoing war. In that sense, it conveys an alarming message to Gaza that the redeployment of forces, resources, and energy against Hezbollah in the north could mean that Israel is winding the Gaza war down on its own terms without a negotiated settlement. The latest attacks have further worsened the already fraught US-Israel ties as well. Privately, US officials have castigated Israelis as Biden has been making a last-ditch attempt for a negotiated settlement. Israelis apparently told their American interlocutors that it needed to escalate in order to de-escalate. In other words, hitting Hezbollah hard and defanging it could force the Iran-backed militia to the negotiating table so that a more lasting solution to the ongoing crisis can be found. Without Hezbollah's guarantee, Israel feels that peace will not hold for long, even if it manages to conclude a peace deal with Hamas. But it shows a clear difference in the thinking between the US and Israel, and a major challenge as the presidential election season enters the home stretch. But it remains to be seen whether Hezbollah would succumb and yield. More than the military capability in the Middle East, it is a question of image and power. The group, Hezbollah, cannot afford to be seen as bending before Israel. In fact, Hezbollah needs to be able to needle Israel by hitting its north at will to keep the ongoing conflict continuing on existing terms and conditions. A big concern, however, is that if the conflict does not end soon, or if Hezbollah manages to retaliate more forcefully, inflicting unacceptable damages on Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu might consider a ground invasion of southern Lebanon across the Litani River. Yesterday, Israel's military chief Herzi Halevi told the Israeli troops that there could be a potential ground war. The non-stop bombing of Lebanon, he said, was to prepare the ground for the possible entry into Lebanon and to degrade Hezbollah. He said a ground war may be necessary to allow displaced Israelis in the country's north to return to their homes. Like Hamas has done in Gaza, Hezbollah has built an extensive tunnel network, making ground invasion a very risky move. And Hezbollah has around 30,000 well-armed and experienced fighters, and also a similar number in reserves. So we may be looking at another endless war if that threat of ground invasion materializes. The US and France are meanwhile working on a ceasefire, but it remains to be seen whether those efforts will be ultimately successful.